Hello? Mic check 1, 2. Nobody saw that. Today is 2 years since I quit my W-2 job, and let me tell you, it has been a freaking roller coaster. So if you're thinking about leaving your job, watch this further. All right, so 2 years ago, I decided to leave a company that was not paying my employees on time. I was a manager, I worked in the healthcare industry, and we were having our checks bounced every 2 weeks. I don't know how a company could do that. Unfortunately, I stayed there because I had these golden handcuffs. I did not think I would make more than $200,000 ever in my life. I thought that I was not able to do that and that a W-2 job would grant me that opportunity to live a very comfortable life making $200K. Keep in mind, over the last probably 5 years before that, I was building a little Rolodex of properties and companies that were working with me directly in the healthcare industry, in the insurance industry, all these wonderful things. But having a job that pays $200K to live in California even, you're like doing pretty well. That's a pretty good life. It's a comfortable life. It's a cushy life. And I decided to leave that. Now, let me tell you this. When I left my job, I didn't know that I would be working as much as I'm working now. So this is what I want everybody to realize now. If you're thinking about leaving your W-2 job and you're in the midterm rental space, you are going to be working more than you've ever worked in your entire life. Hands down, it is going to be so freaking hard. In fact, when I left my W-2 job 1 year after, I recorded a video that I quit my job 1 year ago to the day. And at that point in my life, I explained that I was working a lot. Since last year, I have worked more than I've ever worked in my entire life, working 15-hour days on a regular basis. This business is not passive. Any business that you're building will not be passive. And I really want everybody to realize that, because a lot of people think that if you leave your W-2 job and you invest in a course that you're just going to be this millionaire after a year and everything is great and you're not going to have to worry about anything and you're not going to have to work a lot. And the true goal is to sit on an island somewhere and drink margaritas and have a passive job or career or company that pays you. And that is just far from the freaking truth. You're going to bust your freaking ass. In this last year, I've had frivolous lawsuits that have been put up against me from a former COO that I worked with or that worked with me. I lost my business partner who is a COO that worked with me for a long time. I've created a midterm rental summit. I've done all these cool things, and I'm not here to talk about myself right now. I guess maybe I am. But the reason why I'm bringing this stuff up is because I want everybody to realize that working for yourself is not easy. It is one of the most difficult things that anybody can do in their life, but it gives you such context to understand that once you realize how to build a business, how to create a company, how to scale a company, how to start creating additional streams of income through that same individual company, you can put yourself on a path through hard work and dedication and time and learning and gray hair that comes up out of nowhere. I found a eyebrow hair that was gray the other day, and that scared the crap out of me because I don't want to have gray eyebrows. I think gray hair is cool, but having gray that's not cool. In the last year, I've learned more about business than I've ever learned in my entire life of working in the healthcare industry on the business development side. And I think that a lot of people need to understand, again, going back to this concept, is when you think about creating a short-term, midterm rental business, all these things, like it's going to take so much time and energy and effort. And if you're working a W-2 job, it is so hard to do that and leverage your time to build your business. I did it, and I want you guys to know that you can do it too. Everything that I've done over the last 8 years in this business, 5.5, 6 of those years have been with a W-2 job. But once I left my W-2 job, I was working way more. You're not guaranteed income, but you're going to have a result that you're able to control your time. You're able to control your freedom. And I think money doesn't necessarily bring happiness, but it gives you freedom, which I think freedom at the end of the day is happiness, because you're able to build something. And everybody has a different happy. Like, you know, somebody's goal might be $1 million and somebody else's goal might be $100 million. And I think it's so important, and this is why I'm bringing this up right now, is that if you don't have a big lofty goal from the very beginning, you're going to put yourself in a space where you're going to hit these goals that you don't even necessarily know you have, and say it's reaching $10,000 a month and that's your goal. I just want to make $10,000 a month and that's it. So I'm encouraging everybody right now to think big, to think outside the box, to think about where your next property is going to come from before you even have your first one, what it's going to look like to acquire your first, who you're going to need to connect with, who you're going to be networking with, what companies you want to be associated with, how you want to build your business, what does your business entail? Are you going to be going after travel nurses? Are you going to be going after relocation claims? Or are you going to do all 2 or 3 or 5 of those? I think those things are so important. But again, I think a lot of entrepreneurship is about building and learning and sustaining and not knowing what the hell you're doing, but figuring it out as you go. That is exactly what I've been doing. I am not those gurus that's going to go out there and tell you everything that I know is the right way to do it. I'm so glad I figured it all out. I still learn every every freaking day. And I think that's one of the best and most important pieces of this puzzle. Maybe it's not the best, but it's one of those things where if you're not open to the idea of working long days, working on weekends, working on holidays, like I'm in grind mode. And when you're building a business, you have to be in grind mode. There's no such thing as balance. You don't get balance. You just get the idea of what you're building. You're spending time and energy to do that. You're staying away from the things that are going to drag you down, which is people, which is your friends that are going out to bars, feeling like crap the next day. Like all those things, if you want to build a successful business, you need to stay away from those things. But again, as building a business, as I mentioned before, it is time consuming. You're going to run into frivolous lawsuits. You're going to run into things as you start building. You're going to have that happen to you. And thankfully in my career, within, leaving my W-2 job to 2 years afterwards, like literally to the day, I realized that this is difficult, but it is a rewarding journey to be on. And I think for me, I want everybody to have a realistic expectation when it comes to building your midterm rental business or your short-term rental business or your laundromat business, whatever it is that you're doing, that this space in this entrepreneurship life is not easy. It's difficult. And I do think that sometimes you got to put your head down and just freaking work. And that's going to require 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 hours a day sometimes. But I think that the more dedicated you are, the clearer your vision. If you have coaches or mentors that are working with you on those aspects, it's going to help you so much further along because you're not having to deal with the roadblocks and the situations that people learn over time. You're able to mitigate those things. Again, I think that a lot of people talk about this space and you don't see the ugly side of it. You don't see the difficult parts of it. You don't see the nuances that come along with it. You don't see the struggles that people have. You just see the glory, the Lamborghinis, the new cars, the new houses, the vacations, the Ibiza, the freaking women, the men, everything that's just part of that whole fucking thing that's not even necessarily real. It should be like a montage of people just like walking around pacing on a phone. If that was my montage right now, it would literally be me pacing around on a phone. It would be me on a laptop. It would be me on the phone again. It'd be me on a phone in a different spot in the entire house. It would be me on the phone out front of the house. It would be me talking to a client. It'd be me talking to... That's what building a business is. It's not these vacations and the extreme things. Like, it's just not that. So if you're thinking about starting a business, you're thinking about leaving your W-2 job and thinking things are going to be better than what they were at your W-2 job, you're probably going to be working way more. The grass is not necessarily greener on the other side, but you do have the freedom and the time to do whatever the flip you want whenever you want to do it. And again, I think freedom is more valuable or has a lot more value than money. Once you start building money and you start connecting with money, you start looking at money, it becomes cool, it becomes understanding, and gives you opportunities to be able to do other things. But money does not bring happiness. I can tell you guys that now as a multi-million dollar, it's so weird for me to even say that out loud. As a person that makes, a couple million a year, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of dedication. But if somebody like me can do this, you guys can do this. It's really something that I believe everybody can do. I think everybody has the opportunity to do it. And I think that everybody should be millionaires. And I know that everybody can. It's just at the end of the day, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to put in to your life? What are you willing to take out of your life? And what are you willing to do to be in a space mentally, emotionally, physically to build a business? Because it takes time and energy and effort. So if you guys have any thought process on this, leave a comment down below. If you think what I'm saying today is a bunch of BS, leave a comment down below. But I just wanted to bring this up to everybody today to talk about my 2-year anniversary of leaving my W-2 job and having more stress than I've ever had in my entire life. But I love the journey because at the end of the day, I'm housing people that have lost their properties. I'm housing travel nurses. I'm teaching people to do exactly what I've been able to build and how I know that they're able to build. And I have these students that are having these crazy successes that are building in their midterm rental businesses. And they're just getting the mindset to be able to do that. I think that's what's so empowering to me, is just to be able to teach other people, just like you here being with me right now in this space, just to get the motivation and also know that you're going to be putting yourself through a ton of work and a ton of grind. But it's worth it at the end of the day. It is worth it, even though you might have a crap load of gray hair like I might have. This is what I look like when I'm done with my day, just so you guys know. Like, I literally look like this guy. But I'm telling you right now, it's worth it. If you guys are here for the first time, I'm glad you're here. I hope you hang out with me a little bit more. For those of you that follow me on a regular basis, I appreciate you guys. Make sure to jump over to my free Facebook group, which I just created a couple weeks ago. We have over 2,000 people on there right away, and we talk about midterm rentals on a regular basis. I'll leave a link down below. And if you're interested in my midterm rental course, the mentorship, there's a link down below too. So yeah, this video just basically nailed everything everywhere all at once, especially the first 10 seconds of this video, because I literally fell, and that wasn't fake. That was freaking real. And that's what my life is at the moment. But I'm standing back up. I'm on my 2 feet. I'm talking to you guys. I'm alive. I'm grateful. We'll see you in the next one.